There was a time I thought I knew exactly who I was. I knew what I was about, where I belonged, especially in relation to my family. I knew where I was going. I knew what I wanted. I was a good mom, a good daughter, a loyal sister and friend. I was the dependable one who always got everything done. And I loved being her. And for decades, my family agreed that that's who I was. They loved that version of me too, especially when I made them look good, until I couldn't do it anymore. When everything in my own life turned upside down with my kids, and the stress of my own life nearly crushed me, and I couldn't keep up, and I couldn't comply with their demands, and in some cases I wouldn't comply because they went against everything that I believed to be true. The narrative flipped. Suddenly, I was no longer the good one. I was incompetent. I was too sensitive. I was selfish. I was the problem. What I know now is I was also the family scapegoat. If you've recently been through an identity shift due to family dysfunction or estrangement, or your personal identity has otherwise been rewritten by people that you love the most, it's not just a broken relationship that's causing all the angst. Your identity was literally hijacked. And now you're standing in a foreign land where nothing is familiar. Everything has changed. There's emotional shrapnel everywhere. And there's a gaping hole of questions. Who am I now? I know I'm not who I was. I know I'm not who they said I am. But I'm not yet who I'm going to become. And I have no idea what to do or where to go next. We're going to talk today about that existential crisis that hits after the conflict ends and the family breaks down, and how to find your footing when you don't even recognize the ground that you're standing on. Just a quick note here, if you're in that place, I've got a free guide called Making Sense of the Mess. It'll help you figure out what to do with all those pieces that are laying around and start to make sense of them. If you want a copy of that, comment mess down below, or there's a link in the description where you can grab it. By far, the most disorienting part of this journey isn't the distance or the silence. It's not even the loss of the relationship itself. It's the realization that it was all conditional. In dysfunctional family systems, your identity, and often your acceptance too, is tied to your utility. In other words, it's all about what you do and how others benefit from it. And as long as you are useful, you have a place. But the moment you speak up, you put a boundary in place or say, no more, everything changes. And you immediately become the villain in the story. It feels like you're being erased. In my case, I knew I was a good mom and I had a sweet biological daughter to prove it. I also know that everything I did along the way for my kids, for my parents, for my siblings, for all of the others, I did it out of love and loyalty and with the best of intentions. I wasn't always perfect, but I gave it my whole heart and my whole soul. And now it's like that person never even existed, especially to them. If you're in that place, I want you to know that is not a you problem. That is a them problem. But it is a big reason that you probably feel so lost. Your competence and your goodness didn't vanish because they stopped acknowledging it. You just need to stop looking for your point of reference in people who have decided to stop seeing you and are committed to misunderstanding you. This whole identity crisis thing is bonkers. Right now, it probably feels like you're walking through a thick fog. The relationships are broken. The roles that you played for decades, maybe even most of your life, no longer fit and might not even exist anymore. If you're in the middle of that mess feeling discombobulated, you aren't failing at family. You're not healing wrong. In fact, you're probably not even doing anything wrong. You're just disoriented. Especially when there's been a big family conflict or a breakdown in those key relationships, we often spend a lot of time trying to prove that we're right, prove that we aren't who they said that we were, and that we just need to be heard, that we often forget to ask, what do we actually want out of this, and where do we want to be? In so many situations, my own included, What's really going on is we're living a script that we didn't write. We're playing a part that we never wanted, that we never auditioned for, maybe didn't even know was going on. And you were just doing your job, doing what you were told in the assigned role that was designated for you by other people. And now that script has all been torn up and the silence feels heavy, sometimes very vulnerable. But it's in that silence that we get to realize, maybe for the first time ever in our lives, that you're not being told what you have to do or who you need to be anymore. I had a friend tell me one time, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I just need to know what to do. When she said that, I felt that to the center of my soul and down to my toes. We are capable women. This is very uncomfortable and we just need it fixed now, right? We want a plan. We want a strategy. I do have plenty of those. I'm happy to tell you more about them if you want me to. But sometimes the only move is to admit that we're off in no man's land and we have no idea what's going on. In the middle of that also lies a very quiet grief. It's the kind that doesn't always even come with words. And it's all over the fact that not only am I not who they said I am, they are not who they said they are either. And the family that you thought you were building or that you once had was in many ways just a mirage that was kept alive by your labor. That one hits heavy and that one hits hard. And it is okay to not know where to put your feet next. It's okay to be in this kind of a blank state. Even though it feels urgent and we just need to know what we need to do, I promise you don't have to find your new calling or your new purpose today. They will come with time. They will gradually unfold. But when the landscape is this foreign, your job is only to find 1 square inch of solid ground. And let me offer you this. That piece of ground is you are good enough, you are valuable enough, and you are allowed to exist and breathe in whatever messy version of life you're currently in. One thing I'm personally grateful for is the one part of my identity that didn't change through all of this. And that is my Christian identity. I knew then, and I know even stronger now, that I am a daughter of God. I am known to Him, and that identity matters the most to me. If you're still standing in this dizzying place of who am I and what am I supposed to do now, please hear this. You aren't lost. You're just finally unclaimed. Things didn't break because you weren't enough or because you failed. But it might have been because you were the only one that was holding up the structure that was never yours to carry, especially alone. Again, because this is all so confusing, I put together that resource called Making Sense of the Mess. You can find that link down below in the description. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think of all of this. Where are you feeling lost? Where are you feeling invisible? Let's talk about it and do it in a safe way. I promise you're not alone. The identity crisis that comes after a breakdown in the family is a big deal, but it's not the only piece of things. Even once you find your direction, there's often an even bigger piece that kicks in, and that is guilt. Especially the guilt that comes when you start to choose you, when you start to take better care of yourself, and when you start to put things in place that protect your physical, emotional, and mental health. I've got a video all about that right over here. Give it a click and I'll meet you over there.